I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Education for the School District of Baraboo to order for Monday, May the 20th, 2013, with roll call. Mr. Cummings?
Here.
Mr. McNevin?
Here.
Mr. Meering is absent. Mr. Mortimer?
Here.
Ms. Riley?
Here.
Mr. Vidro?
Here.
And Vodak here. Continue with the pledge. The flag is behind the counter. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would entertain a motion for the resolution approving the minutes of the May 6, 2013 regular meeting as printed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Riley, seconded by Vidro. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried, minutes approved. Brings us to the agenda item correspondence. I do have one item of correspondence to interject. Due to an inquiry that I gave to Mr. Lang in regards to how the State Solo and Ensemble Festival went, that was the 27th of April in Platteville, at UW Platteville. He gave me some highlights. I'd like to share those. There were 24 events qualifying for state. Of those 24 events, 17 got firsts and 7 got seconds. There were about 50 students that were involved from the music department. And those to mention are a junior, Lizzie Strobel, who received a first in vocal solo, a first in alto sax solo, a first in soprano sax solo, and a first in the jazz ensemble and the triple trio. And Lana Hunch, who is a sophomore, first in the marimba solo, a first piano solo, and a first on the jazz ensemble. And Carissa Fritsch, who's a senior, a first with the horn solo, a first with the musical theater solo, and a first with the triple trio. So I'd like to congratulate all of those who attended, and in particular those that received the first and those that I mentioned in particular. So I'd like to enter that for correspondence. That's all that I have. Any other board members with correspondence? Any administrative correspondence?
I have several. The first is the announcement of our elementary teacher of the year, Liz Golden, and I don't think she's here tonight. We want to congratulate her. And nice coverage in the BNR on that. And then we also received notification that our district has been granted the peer review and mentoring grant again in the amount of $8,200. Also the competitive grant that Danny worked on with a group of parents and staff members, and remind me the amount of that grant?
About $8,600.
$8,600 as well. And then we received notice that our school-wide Title I grant was also awarded, so that's good news on those fronts. And I believe that's all that I have.
Any other administrative correspondence?
Yes, I received an email from WASBO just regarding a legislative alert, and they suggested the AWSA has put together a sample letter for boards or administrators to send to their legislators regarding the 2013-15 budget, mainly addressing voucher expansion, charter school oversight board, and school funding. So I would recommend that the board consider sending a letter, and then Crystal and I would also work on putting a letter together to send to our legislators.
Okay.
Do you want to nominate Doug to do that on behalf of the board?
Oh, absolutely.
So direct. Any other correspondence? Hearing none, moves us on to the portion of the agenda entitled Public Viewpoint. Do we have anyone here for public viewpoints tonight?
We do have a group here tonight. You guys want to stand up by the mic? Watch the court. Watch the courts there.
My name is Brittany Curtin, and I'm here to represent the West staff.
And my name is Deb Benson. I'm here to represent the Belk staff. Sorry we lied to you. He asked why we were here, and we said we just thought we should take a board meeting in before the end of the year. On behalf of the West and Belk staff, we would like to recognize and honor our principal, Mr. Jim Reuter, for his constant and unwavering leadership, dependability, and commitment to his staff and students. There is so much to value about Jim, and this is a small token of our appreciation and thankfulness for having the good fortune to work every day with such an amazing administrator. He is the leader many would dream of having the opportunity to work with. He is committed to excellence and is always willing and able, when able, to go the extra mile. He is caring, understanding, and patient with all the students he meets. He works tirelessly to learn all students by name. He believes in the power of building strong rapport with each and every child. He tries to spend as much time with the students as possible in hands-on learning and play-based environments. He takes time with them at recess, in the cafeteria, and tries to be in all of the classrooms and sites at least once a week. He understands what is developmentally appropriate for our youngest population in the district, and he supports teachers in their activities with these learners. The students adore him.
With staff, he ensures high levels of cooperation and collaboration so that we may excel in our positions and continue to improve as educators. He always takes time to listen and is considerate of all those involved. He believes in our abilities and trusts us as professionals, which in turn creates high morale in the workplace. We always feel completely supported by Jim. He is more than willing to step in and take over a classroom in unexpected circumstances and offer assistance in challenging situations. He supports us in our curriculum decisions, and he is also a terrific resource with his vast knowledge and philosophies. West is a cheerful and encouraging place to work thanks to Jim's leadership and the positive attitude he has for the school environment. He goes out of his way to help, support, and protect his staff and students. What makes Jim Reuter stand out? His modesty. Jim would probably prefer not to be recognized in this way tonight, which is why I wanted to surprise him. Jim, we hope you know how outstanding you are and that we recognize your boundless efforts as you contribute your time and skills relentlessly. You have truly helped make West and Belk great places to be each and every day. With sincere gratitude, respect, and loyalty, we thank you for your contributions to West and Belk, as well as the entire Bearville School District. You make a difference in so many lives, and we want you to know that we truly appreciate all you do. West and Belk.
Thank you very much. It's a real privilege to serve with all my colleagues and to serve our students and families. It's a real honor. Thank you for the opportunity.
And I was going to ask everybody who was here for Jim to stand, but you guys beat me to it. So thank you so much for honoring our principal of West and Belk, and he deserves that recognition for his efforts. So thank you very much for taking the time.
Do we have any other public viewpoints?
They should all be like that.
Yeah. I don't know if Jim would agree, but
Well, while that's going to be a tough act to follow, actually, I do have another administrative recognition that I'd like to put forth tonight on behalf of Mike Harris, who has served the district in multiple roles over the last few years. And I collected some quotes from my esteemed staff that I'd like to share with you. Mike came to our building in a great time of need. He immediately established stability with exceptional leadership skills. That stability remains today, and we are forever appreciative to Mike for being there in our time of need. Mike was a leading force behind the schedule changes at Jackman Middle School that resulted in a modified block schedule. It has been the cornerstone of significant gains in student learning for the past few years. Mike was instrumental in bringing the modified block to us and has helped us navigate and adjust to major changes in teaching in a very proactive and positive manner. Mike was instrumental in adjusting our schedule to include TA, which has brought many positive changes in our school as kids from all grade levels are now getting to know each other and are making positive connections with adults in our building. Mike has helped design a schedule that includes intervention time for all students, regardless of ability level, with the implementation of TI. Mike has helped me see that compassion and vision are the most important tools in the life of an administrator. Mike has been a great role model for our staff. He has been a strong supporter of our staff during difficult times. Mike has helped me with my golf swing. He helped me recognize that I was transferring too much weight too early in my swing to hit the ball effectively and consistently. And then I added one of my own that I want to share. Mike has been a tremendous role model, mentor, and friend to me. He has taught me the value of going slow and the importance of taking time to listen. Mike has taught me to think things through before choosing a path of action. His influence has a profound impact on me as an administrator. He has displayed great patience, wisdom, and leadership during his time at Jack Young Middle School, and we are a better building because of his efforts. And Mike could do nothing to help my golf swing, by the way. But on behalf of our staff, I wanted to give Mike a special gift here, and it's a certificate to the Grand Geneva Golf Course in Lake Geneva.
Ooh.
Thank you for your service to Jack Young Middle School and the Bearwood School District.
And we're not saying goodbye because we may need you yet, so.
I just want to say real quickly that I want to thank you guys for letting me serve here. I really enjoyed the 4.5 years. I can't believe how fast it's gone since I showed up here to help out. I mean, I just really, truly have enjoyed the kids, the parents, the staff. Everybody has embraced me. It's been a great situation here, and I really want to thank you for letting me serve you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other public viewpoints? Any other public viewpoints? Any other public viewpoints? Hearing none, I'd like to move on to our staff and student recognition, which obviously the previous comments were an excellent segue into. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ritzenthaler.
And actually, we've got a little presentation to.
Yeah, so we wanted to recognize our nutrition services staff, and especially someone in particular, and that is Mr. Bob Depke. But we do have a little video to play before we recognize him.
Well, I have to bring out the fruit and other things from the coolers to get them at the serving lines. Then I, obviously, when the kids are coming through the lines, I serve, generally I serve the fruit and the snack or whatever it is, the vegetables. And then it's my responsibility to make sure the tables are clean after the kids, that shift of kids leaves, and I get those tables cleaned off so that the next group of kids can sit down on a clean table. Interacting with the little kids, I just think it's the greatest. I kid with them and make them laugh. And, they say some pretty funny stuff. Last November 11th, a little 5th grade girl came up to me and said, Happy Vets Day, Bob. And I said, thank you. And I thought that was pretty nice of her to do that. And she says, my uncle was a veterinarian. And I said, okay. Cracked me up.
Bob's been working here for around, he started in 06, so Bob's been here for 7 years. And so he has the biggest positive impact he has is that he absolutely loves his job and he loves the kids, and that's the most. I mean, that we need that for sure. And I mean, now I know he's only in that GLW a couple hours a day, but he just loves to come in and see the kids and work with the kids and interact with the kids. At lunchtime, I mean, it's a time where the kids can relax, have fun, and they oftentimes look to the people that are serving the lunch as like an extension of their parents or grandparents. I mean, because they're typically very nice and kind to them, and it's a good time of the day for them, and they like to enjoy that interaction. So he loves to interact with the kids, and it's more about that than it is about the actual, the routine of what he does at his job, which is all fine and dandy. But just the fact that he just loves the kids and they love him is really the most important thing. So that's why he stands out as a fantastic food service employee for the Bearwood School District. So.
So on behalf of the Bearwood School District, thank you for what every day and for the passion and the interaction that you have with our students. That really makes a difference. So thank you very much. And Mary, the food service program would be nothing without you. And you take care of everybody, the kids, the staff, and the whole district. So thanks again for your leadership.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bob's story. Like I said, he really does love kids, and he one day I was there with the health inspector, and Bob was serving, and this little first or second grader comes through the line, and she says, "Mr. Bob, are you still married?" And his wife Carolyn also works in food service here, some of his family, and he says, "Well, yes, I am." And she pauses, she says, "Well, if you're not married anymore, could you let me know?" So I know his wife, I might have to tell her.
All right, brings us to a continuation of staff and student recognition, and again I will turn to Dr. Ritzenthaler.
Well, we have a very unique program at the middle school, and Jennifer Peterson is here tonight. Do you want to start by sharing a little bit about the program and then introducing our student that we're recognizing?
You bet. This year is the first year that we kind of have a functional life skills program at the middle school, just a little bit different. And we had some unique students coming in that had needs that we couldn't meet with what we currently were doing. So Calvin Crow came to the middle school, and we knew that we needed to do something a little bit different, so we opened up a coffee shop. So Calvin delivers coffee twice a day to staff around the building. And I don't know, I wasn't expecting standing. And it has turned out to just be something that has been amazing for him. He'll be the first to tell everyone here, so I hope he's not too mad tomorrow. But he'll be the first to say that before it was really hard for him to talk to people and make eye contact and communicate without really struggling. And we've seen a total difference in Kevin this year, and it's really cool to end the year like this. So I just thought he should definitely be recognized for all the hard work he's done. It's been an amazing year for him.
So many positive things about you. I get to see your name every day on the emails offering coffee, and I hope to get up there to the middle school and enjoy some of that. Thanks for being such a great role model for all of our students, and they can learn so much from you and your work ethic and what you do every day. So here's an Honors for Excellence medallion, T-Bird, and I'm going to pass off to you.
Thank you.
Again, congratulations. And thank you, Jennifer, for your leadership.
Thank you for all of that.
Can we just adjourn now?
There's so many good things.
It would be a good point to end the meeting. Brings us to the portion of the agenda entitled Reports, and first up is the 2013-14 budget update.
Do you already have that? We could share it. But I haven't seen it.
Nobody wants to sit there in the report, Mike.
That's all right.
Don't take it personally.
Don't hurt feelings.
Should have went first.
So I am coming back with another update for the 2014 budget. I have provided in the exact same format, so hopefully it's easy for you to compare to the last 2 months. We are staying with the $0, the $100, and the $150 scenarios. I believe in the sample letter that I talked about earlier, the proposal from some legislators is $200. So that would be great if we can get that, but in case we don't, we're preparing for something less. Some of the changes I made from April's presentation to you is that we moved the cost of the middle school wall out of the general operating budget and put it on the deferred maintenance list that we hope to be, that should be funded through a non-referendum borrowing. So that took about $550,000 out of the 13-14 budget expenditures. And the other thing I added in tentatively is $200 for technology, and that's based on a replacement cycle that we need to make sure is happening so that our students and staff are working on current technology and are able to do their jobs and learn most effectively. So those were the two big changes.
Martha, I'm sorry, $200 per student?
$200,000.
$200,000.
Sorry if I misspoke there.
It's okay.
So I've added those to the bottom where you see the assumptions. I took out the $550,000, there's zeros there now, and I added $200,000, and hopefully that would be a recurring expenditure every year. So in the $0 increase, we're seeing almost a break even. Of course, the one assumption that we've been talking about for the past few months is we still don't have salary increases in here. So that'll be the next big step to figure out. But then if we go to, the $100 increase, we're looking a little better. We have about $150,000 surplus next year. And our percentage of fund balance over expenditures is more in line with the 15, and you'll see in the next slide, 17%, which is where we would like to be. And then finally, the $150 increase, we would have about $300,000 of revenue over expenditures if we were able to get that. And that puts us 15% fund balance next year and closer to 18% the following year. Are there any questions from the board members? Yes.
Yeah, if we took 550 or so out from the middle school wall, doesn't that then change the budgeted 12-13, or does it change the actual 12-13?
It would change the actual 12-13. So I don't believe you can recoup what we did last summer that hit this year's budget. But if we get an invoice this summer for whatever work is done in June, we potentially can use that borrowing to refund ourselves for whatever that cost may be.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you.
Any additions from the Finance Committee? Comments? Hearing none brings us to B under reports, which is the Facility Phase 2 update. Really the only update is that we have our first community workshop tomorrow morning at 10:30 at the Civic Center. There is also one to follow in June. That one is going to be at the middle school, and that one is on the 3rd of June. So if you wish to attend, please feel free to do so tomorrow. We did post that as a potential quorum of the board, I believe, so we don't have any issues with other board members attending.
And I did talk to Todd today from the Baraboo News. They are running an article tomorrow morning with both of the dates, and then they will have a reporter at the workshop tomorrow covering that.
Sean, anything to add?
Nope.
Brings us to 6, which is the continuous school improvement, the 2013-2014 professional development plan. And any discussion on that?
In your board packets, you had a document that's labeled the 2013-14 professional development plan. In terms of supporting our strategic plan and that one component or goal of working on goals and a professional development plan for the next 3 years, we had a group of 17 staff members volunteer to work on that work group again this year to map out our professional development for next school year, focused on the same 7 initiatives that are listed at the top of that document: assessment, literacy, and data-driven decision-making, literacy, math, differentiation and inclusive practices, grading and assessment, PBIS, and 21st century learning instructional technology. So the plan that's laid out here for 13-14 is year 2. And like I said, we're focusing on the same 7 initiatives to get better in our practices. What you'll see is we've mapped out the pre-session days, those days that staff are here before students start at the beginning of the school year. And then throughout the school year, we've structured our PLC afternoons with a routine of giving teachers and prioritizing time on collaboration time to review data and plan their instruction to best meet the needs of students. And there are a number of professional development activities that are facilitated by our own staff, which I think is a real asset to the district. So I'm not going to read through it for you, but I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Wow.
And we're very open and receptive to ideas that the board might have in terms of continuous improvement topics here at the board meeting, or any professional development that the board would be interested in any area. So feel free to contact Lori or myself anytime.
And with the professional development cohorts, Lori, those are groups, teachers who have been identified as leaders and then have developed a network that goes across schools, across grades.
That's correct. Yep, the professional development cohorts is something new that we tried for this school year, where teachers signed up at the beginning of the school year for which cohort they wanted to belong to. And each of these are facilitated by our own teacher leaders, except for the gifted and talented one was facilitated by Wanakee Pathway coordinators. And we also had someone come from UW Whitewater to do our co-teaching or team teaching for students with disabilities. And so we've made the communication to our staff that these will be the same cohorts moving into the next 2 years, so they can partake in perhaps gifted and talented this year. Next time maybe go into English language, instructional strategies, and then try a third one for the following year.
Do all teachers join?
Yep, everyone is expected to sign up for one. And the focus of our cohorts is really on the differentiation and inclusive practices.
Is there, Lori, I know there's a process for gathering the feedback from
Thank
all
you.
of those
Yep.
participants.
Thank you. I was remiss in not pointing out that at the beginning of this school year, as we did a lot of professional development towards the first end of the school year, or first part, we had a survey go out to all of our staff to share with us what's working, what's not, and that guided a lot of some shifting around that we did for this upcoming school year.
And does that shifting and change get put back to the teachers and others so that they're aware that their feedback coming in
Makes a difference.
makes
yeah.
a difference?
After
And-
tonight, after you guys see it, yes, it goes out to the whole staff.
Yeah, I'm not just talking about the
Yeah.
document, but that the feedback from those people who are doing the work is absolutely critical to all of us in continuous improvement. And the missing link sometimes is we get feedback, we utilize it, but we forget to say, oh, by the way, we used your feedback, thank you. I think we need to formalize
The teacher
that.
leaders that were on this work group, once the survey was done at the first part of the school year, we collected themes from the data, and they did share that out at their individual faculties. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Brings us to personnel recommendations. I'm not aware of any retirements to act upon tonight. Brings us to new hires. We have 7 of them. We can take them individually, or we can take them as a slate. I'll leave that up to whoever wants to make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to take them collectively.
Did I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Motion by Vidro, seconded by Riley for the approval of new hires. I'll run through the list. High school art, Amy Baczynski. That would be at $35,000. High school business education, Marcy Lutch. That would be at $48,000. High school business education, Greg Manson, which is 66.67% of $35,000, which is $23,334.50. The high school, middle school online coordinator, Michelle Gilmore, which is $63,000. Speech and language, Amanda Caro for high school and West at $40,000, and Anthony Peruco for middle school in North Freedom at $40,000. Any discussion?
I'd like to say that the packet that was included for all board members to review, which included all of the information and the rationales, which you just reiterated, Kevin, is greatly appreciated. I think we have a great group of people coming in. We have some that are more seasoned than others, and as I appreciate that we're reaching for the highest level that we can to support student achievement, but I think also that the vitas of all of the younger people are excellent coming in as well.
Crystal, on these here, are these replacement educators here, or all new hires, or portion of which?
Well, the positions were previously approved by the board. Remember when we opened up the block scheduling at the high school, we created a situation where we had more enrollment opportunities for kids. And so these positions, the speech and language are both replacements. I think I talked about a voluntary transfer from a 100% position to a 60% position. The online coordinator is a brand new position.
I see on the online coordinator too, also with the licensure and business education in there too. Is that
And tech education.
So that's all sort of tangled together there.
Right, and Lori, you sent out, I think, additional information on that person's qualifications. Has taught in a variety of different kinds of programs and settings, and I was very impressed with meeting her and the leadership that she's going to provide district-wide for online learning.
And that'll fit in the budget there then?
Yep, that's already been approved.
And you say that's a new position, that I remember we approved it, but does that take Rhonda?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of those things have been shifted around a little bit at the high school between current staff members and new hires.
The first one, A.V. Baczynski, and then also the online, there's no dates on the background checks. Just, I think the first one, it looks like maybe it was just neglected to fill that in.
I can speak to that a little bit. Amy's took a little extra time, but Gail Johnston came in and talked to me today. It has gone through and everything's okay. She actually has overseas experience in Qatar, I think. Is that how you say it, Mr.
Yeah.
Noble? Yes.
Qatar.
Okay, and so yeah, he's always correcting me when I say that. But that's why it took so long for hers to come in. And then Michelle, we just recently, had those conversations, so I think her background check is still coming.
Any further discussion?
Thank you for asking that question. We're finding more and more applicants that have that experience out of the country, and so sometimes that process takes a little bit longer for that.
I think we're also finding applicants such as Ms. Gilmore who have a variety of licensures as well as a variety of experience. And one of the things which this board has indicated they are extremely interested in is bringing people to Baraboo for careers and supporting them in long-term growth and development, not just as a job, but as a member of our community. And I think that's critically important that we remind people that's a part of our hope and expectation for them, and that we would like to do everything we can to make sure that Baraboo is where they choose to live.
Hearing no additional discussion and having a motion by Mr. Vidro, seconded by Ms. Riley for the approval of the new hires as mentioned. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed. Motion carried, and congratulations to the new hires. Brings us to C, which is the summer school contract for Margot Caleb at a negotiated rate of $23 an hour. Entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Cummings, seconded by Mr. McNevin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Brings us to the approval of the 2013-2014 contract adjustments. The first of which is the 6-day extended contract for Karen Nelson. This was a voluntary request to transfer, and then some additional days. That's at the elementary library media coordinator position. Entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by McNevin, seconded by Riley. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Brings us to the reduction in contract, which again is voluntary. This is for speech and language for Katie Trulock to 60%. Entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vidro, seconded by McNevin. Any discussion?
I'd like to, excuse me?
Why was the reduction?
She recently has a baby, and so she asked to go from 100% to 60%. We had somebody in the 60% position that left the district. I also want to indicate that the reason it's coming before the board is it's a change in the current contract for next year. If it was a lateral 100% to 100%, then it would be a transfer.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Brings us to the Masters Supplemental Pay List. Brian Bauer, Kayla Bauer, Brittany Crammond, Brittany Curtin, Judd Maxwell, Justin Olson, Kyla Paff, Megan Watson, and Daisy Wyland. I would entertain a motion for the approval of that supplemental pay adjustment for
So
those.
moved. With enthusiasm.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Vedro, seconded by Mr. Cummings. Any discussion?
Just want to reiterate, I think this is consistent with what this board has committed to say that we wish to support our teachers' professional development in every way, shape, and form. And I'd like to personally extend congratulations to all of these for their attainment and their continued growth.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Brings us to E, which is the approval for postings, of which we don't have any at this time. However, I would think it would be beneficial for the board to authorize the administration to post for any future vacancies if they occur between tonight and our first meeting in June.
Move to authorize.
Second.
Any discussion? Having a motion by Mr. McNevin, seconded by Mr. Cummings. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. That brings us to the consent portion of the agenda, the approval of the April, oops, I'm sorry, I skipped one. The approval of the long-term substitute position for, which is under F. I don't know if the board had
No.
that information. That is for Barb Walter, and that is for 3rd grade at Abe. Entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions, or you want to provide any additional background to the board?
Well, it was one that just recently came to us, which requires a leave of absence from the current teacher. And it will be long-term, so it requires approval by the board.
Long-term to the end of the year or long-term next year?
Is it end of year?
Yeah, it's not that, it seems pretty short.
10 days is long-term, so.
Further questions? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Of course, the last 10 days of the year in the
Motion carried.
classroom's gotta be really long.
Good point.
I guess it's all perspective, isn't it?
brings us to the portion of the agenda entitled Consent, the approval of the April 2013 receipts and disbursements. For that, I will turn to Chair of Finance, Mr. McNevin.
We met, we reviewed, we moved to approve.
Second.
Motion by McNevin, seconded by Cummings. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Brings us to new business, the approval of the Baraboo Early Learning Cooperative Belk contracts. You were provided those, I believe they, if not in the packet, they were available at the central office location. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vedro, seconded by McNevin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Brings us to the bid recommendations, the first of which is coming from Buildings, Grounds, and Transportation.
Oh, maybe skipped
No.
one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get done earlier. Human Growth, and I even have it right in front of me. Human Growth and Development Recommendations, and who's going to handle that?
Lori and her team.
Lori and her team.
Yeah, the team. A small representation of the team. Again, in your board packet, we provided a memo to you from the School District of Baraboo Human Growth and Development Advisory Council. We had a representative group that is required by state statute to come together and review and make recommendations to the school board about possible revisions to how we provide human growth and development curriculum to all of our students. And so in your board packet, we shared with you the members of that group, but we also shared the meeting dates that we came together to do that work. And along with that, we provided a scope and sequence of topics that we think is appropriate to introduce, reinforce, and have mastery at different grade levels. And so I will let these ladies introduce themselves who are here with me. They were part of our work group, and then we'll share those recommendations. You want to start, Julie?
Hi, my name is Julie Jensen, and I teach health here at the Faribault High School. And I feel that the recommendations are very appropriate and they're very comprehensive, so I agree with them.
I'm Karen Ellsworth, and I'm the parent of 2 kids in the Faribault School District, and I'm a pediatrician in the community.
Hi, I'm Jess Caney. I'm the Community Education Coordinator at Hope House, the local domestic violence and sexual assault center.
So with our recommendations, there's really a focus on 4 themes. There's some recommendations regarding curriculum, which includes primarily that K-12 scope and sequence of instructional topics. We also want to implement a specific K-5 protective behaviors curriculum, and Danny was also part of our team, and she has made a recommendation to use the curriculum called Protecting You, Protecting Me. We also have a recommendation that would sustain or maintain middle school health education at the 7th and 8th grade levels, and we indicated the time. The group thought it was important to do that because a lot of times with the middle school schedule, as we were talking about, there are shifts made, and we wanted to be clear that this particular component of our curriculum is so essential at the middle school level that we wanted to guarantee that that was part of board regulations and policy. We also think that time is always of essence, and the number of topics that you see in that scope and sequence are quite comprehensive, and so looking for other ways outside of the health education classroom to provide this instruction, so we listed some options there. And also to not forget about the effective curriculum outcomes, which I know Mr. Vidra would appreciate. And consider bringing in potential and intentional guest speakers to achieve those outcomes. Another theme was focusing on family services, providing parent educational services on adolescent issues, and scheduling that with multiple modes of communication and at various locations to give our parents those resources to support their students in promoting their own values regarding these topics. And to also consider the creation of a student wellness club as a peer-led activity at the high school. The 3rd theme is around professional development, and we feel that we can continue to do more professional development for our staff on topics related to bullying, disclosure, addressing mental health issues and behaviors. And the last theme was really around our communications to families as we begin instruction each year for human growth and development. We are required as a district to provide those notifications out to families, and we just, as a team, we decided that some things should be included in our current communications that are not there at this time. Outlining the topics in detail so families can preview that prior to instruction, and also have an opt-out signature in case they do not want their student to partake in that instruction. So I've done a lot of talking. Do you guys want to speak specifically to any recommendations or just the process as a whole, as a team? We really worked on our presentation together. This is a shy group.
Well, I wanna thank all of you for being part of that process, and I know it was a big undertaking this year to go through all that information and to develop those recommendations, and I know that you all have very busy schedules, so thank you for being part of that process.
I'll just say one thing. I mean, I was surprised because I think sometimes as a parent, you know, it's kind of like one person and there's all you guys and you know what you're doing, and you know, you kind of feel like you're not really part of it. And this really felt like, I mean, there was a wide range of beliefs and religions and everything there, and there were some pretty interesting discussions. And it was, I mean, I think everybody had a chance to say their piece. There were going to be another couple of people here, but they didn't come. And so, and the other thing is, like, I've never had a meeting that either runs on time or gets out early, so thank you.
See? Vicious rumor.
And I was just gonna say too, I really appreciated being a part of that as a community organization, because I feel like the piece in particular about having a guest speaker be able to come in and talk about the topics from our perspective, we feel like it's really helpful to come in as Hope House and say, you know, this is what we do and this is what we can do to be helpful for you and raising
name versus just having, you know, a teacher or a school staff person talk about it, and it makes the kids and the teens be able to relate to you more and be more approachable, and so I feel like that piece is very, very helpful. And then, like Lori was saying, being able to continue that, you know, in terms of professional development and working with parents, just trying to do that whole package for a lot of our kids that are going through tough times. And, you know, from what we see, kids that are exposed to domestic violence in their home or being sexually abused or in teen dating violence relationships, that to be able to have, you know, more support systems, more people that are willing to talk about this, because they may or may not be getting it in the home.
I think it's absolutely critical. I support that. So often our sins are ones of omission. We think everything is fine because we don't know. And I personally, as a father of two here in our elementary school, soon to be middle school, and then in the larger community, thank you for the work. I think it's absolutely critical for young people to have avenues and knowledge and information, because they are experiencing many of these things, whether we as adults choose to acknowledge it or not. And we have not only a statutory responsibility, but we have an ethical responsibility to fulfill that requirement. And thank you so much for stepping up for that.
I would just echo, I want to thank them too, that we had a great time together. I did keep joking around with them. They're my favorite Human Growth and Development Advisory Council ever.
Wow.
They were a very a nice representative group and really concerned about the best interests of our students. So thank you very much for your time, and we're looking for your approval of our recommendations.
Entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Riley, seconded by Bedro, to accept the recommendations for human growth and development as presented. Any discussion further? Hearing none, those in favor please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brings us now to bid recommendation, which this is coming through BG&T and Finance. And first up, for the security camera equipment at the high school and at the middle school, the Jack Young Middle School, I will turn to Chair of BG&T, Mr. Cummings.
The proposal from BG&T is to upgrade the security system here at the high school and basically install better security at the middle school, mainly for the idea of children's safety and staff safety and everything like this. The cost is around $40,000, I believe it is, Kevin, Sean, isn't it?
Yeah, came in less than anticipated.
Yes.
It's the recommendations from the BG&T committee that we approve this, and then we brought it to finance, and Sean, care to say something?
We moved to accept the low bid of Fearing's. What was the dollar amount, Martha? One was
3656 for the middle school and 10,532 for the high school.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Having a motion by Mr. McNevin, seconded by Mr. Cummings, for the security camera equipment at the high school and the Jack Young Middle School to Fearings in Portage, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Brings us to 2, and I want to at least offer my addition or correction, because I have referred to that pad as a cement pad numerous times and have been corrected by those who work in that industry, not Mr. Mortimer, however. I would like to have it referred to as a concrete pad. Just one of those things according to people that work with cement and concrete.
One's an ingredient.
One is an ingredient.
The other one's
you
an
walk
outcome.
on concrete, you don't walk on cement. So, if I could, as a formality, have it referred to as a concrete pad for phase 2 at the high school track. And the bid.
I move to accept the low bid from Schlu's Classic Concrete of $67,000-ish, plus the 1,000-ish upgrade for the trench drain which was the low bid. The other bid received was from Freedy's to the tune of $97,000. $90,000. And these are being paid for with donated dollars for phase 2 of the track, of which we have the dollars in hand.
Yes.
I will second that motion.
It's a long motion, but it's a good one.
Having a motion by Mr. McNevin, seconded by Ms. Riley for the acceptance of the bid for the concrete pad at the track to Schlu
Classic
Classic Concrete of Reedsburg. If there is no further discussion, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Brings us to, short of our staff recognition, one of the most exciting portions of the agenda. That is the discussion of the copy paper bid.
We paged through this bid and decided to stick with the low bid of the 4 bids of O'Brien, who's been our existing provider. So they are the low bid and our current provider. So I move to approve the continuance of that contract.
I will second it.
Motion by McNevin,
$26.50 a case.
seconded by Cummings.
Sounds kind of pricey, doesn't it?
Any discussion? I have a question. I don't know, we constantly believe, at least I do as a board member, that we're using less paper. Are we really?
Yes.
To what extent?
7.5% 4 years ago, 9.139% 3 years ago. I'm making this stuff.
I like this stuff.
It is.
We will work to reduce
over
it.
the next
Well,
5
but it
years.
is.
When possible.
Yes.
And one way to do that is just buy less. Hey, if we run out in March, we run out in March. But-
You don't want to know what that does to Molly.
Yeah. So, but I guess I looked at the trend a couple years ago when Jim was here, and it has gone down with O'Brien each and every year. It's trending in the right direction.
Matt's working on us.
Okay.
Hey, just board agendas alone is
Yeah.
how many?
20 trees.
Well, you
Yeah.
should be able to find out just by looking at how many cases we bought last year.
Yeah.
And the year before.
I like guessing though. That worked pretty good. Everybody's with it. You should have just rolled with it.
Are we, we're monitoring.
Okay.
There are
If
too many
If there is not any further words of
dots
wisdom
in
in
there.
regards to copy paper, having a motion and a second, those in favor please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. I would like to, before we go, entertain a motion to executive closed session to thank all of the administrators who are with us tonight. I don't know what Crystal promised you, but hopefully you get it tomorrow.
Hopefully you get it tomorrow.
Thank you for your attendance and enjoy the summer because we won't see you until. Entertain a motion to go in executive closed session as posted.
So move.
Motion by Cummings, seconded by Mortimer. Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Vidro, did you say aye? Okay, 5 minutes?
We expect